Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae hold about 70% of the mortgages in this country, which is gigantic. Because what the banks did was they did all these crap mortgages and they shuffled them over to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, which were partly government owned, which are now almost entirely government owned. So they go, I don't have the money. No, I don't have that mortgage. That toxic piece of crap I left on the government's doorstep. I don't take any responsibility for it. Now, technically, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae can go back to places like Bank of America and say, hey, this you gave me a fraudulent mortgage. You gave me a toxic mortgage, and you actually do have to pay for it by law, right? But here's the interesting disparity in our government that is at the core of the problem. When the government says they are in favor of debt relief, okay, because so many of the houses in this country are underwater, and that has cost us $700 to $800 billion that has been taken out of the economy because of the value we've lost in our homes, okay? That's a huge weight on the economy that we got to get rid of, right? Well, when the government says let's do some debt relief for people who can pay it off, for people who are not hopeless in terms of paying back their debts on their homes, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae go, oh, hell no, I'm not going to write off any of this, because if I do any debt relief and I say, hey, you know what? If you're willing to put up $50,000, I will forgive $50,000 in debt, as an example, right? Well, then I got to write down how bad my mortgages are. Well, they don't want to write that down because then you will see how disastrously bankrupt they are. By the way, their executives, now it's almost all government owned, but their executives were private. They took that money and ran. Democrats and Republicans. Those executives made millions off of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. So when it comes to debt relief, they say, no, we won't even apply what President Obama claims that he's in favor of. By the way, we can make them apply that since we own them, but no, the Obama administration go, oh, we would love for them to do that, but they can't. So you say, hey, you know what? Maybe they can't do the debt relief, right? Maybe they're being fair and equal to everybody. Nonsense. At the same exact time, and this is reported by the New York Times, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae refused to go to Bank of America and say, hey, pay for your toxic mortgages that you dumped on us. They have every legal right to do that, but they won't ask for Bank of America to pay another dime. Why? Because they protect Wall Street. They protect the banks. They protect the financial industry. When it comes to relief for us, for the people that are underwater in their mortgages, that have lost $700 to $800 billion overall, the people whose mortgages they hold, no relief for you guys. When Bank of America should actually take responsibility for the loans, the bad loans that they made, they say 100% relief for Bank of America. We're not going to ask for a dime from you. You get all the relief. American taxpayers get none of the relief. That's how these crooked people on Wall Street and in the financial institutions have jerry-rigged our system, have gamed our system, stolen our democracy, and shovel all the money to themselves. And those executives take those bonuses, they take their record pay, and they take it home. And later, when Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac blow up, which they definitely will, because they don't have that $700 or $800 billion. And when they blow up, they go, oh, sorry, no way, we're not paying for any of it. Oh, it was those losers who, took the mortgages they couldn't afford. It's all their fault. But you fed it to them because you made more money off of it. We've shown you how Countrywide did that over and over. And how about your responsibility? How about all the money you made off those crap loans? Nope, we're not going to pay a dime of it. This is why they're occupying Wall Street, because the system is rigged by the rich and the powerful. Let me tell you who is at fault here. I want to name names. A guy named Edward J. DeMarco is the director of the Federal Housing Financing Agency who oversees Fannie and Freddie. And he will not challenge Bank of America at all. He will not ask for a single penny from them. But when it comes to debt relief for you, he totally and utterly says you will not get any because of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. These are the corrupt guys who are robbing you blind. There's a new lawsuit that is charging that the banks have defrauded our veterans and our taxpayers out of hundreds of millions of dollars. How'd they do that? They put secret legal fees and other fees into the mortgages that they were not allowed to charge. You were not supposed to charge those to the veterans, but they hid it in another fee. Now they've been discovered, and there's a lawsuit. And the lawsuit said it was, quote, a brazen scheme to defraud both our nation's veterans and the United States Treasury. So who did this brazen scheme to defraud us? Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, GMAC Mortgage, and the list goes on and on. These are the banks, and this is exactly how they rob us. They charge them for recording. They can charge for recording fees and taxes, credit reports, and other customary fees. It's not like they can't charge veterans at all. But they are not allowed to charge for attorney's fees or settlement closing fees, which they did anyway. They did this in up to 90% of the homes that they did mortgages for veterans. 90% of them had fraud in it. And by the way, this is not something that has come up recently. They actually did this lawsuit all the way back in 2006. It's just the federal court system had been keeping it under wraps because they said, well, until we're sure that you have the evidence, we don't even want the public seeing how badly the banks have robbed our veterans and the taxpayers. And they would charge them up to $950 extra per veteran, which then eventually got to the taxpayers as well. By the way, if you're wondering if it's true or not, Wells Fargo already settled a similar lawsuit for $10 million in a separate class action lawsuit for fees that they fraudulently put in to 60,000 mortgages for refinancing that they did for veterans. They've got 100 different ways that they rob us blind. And when we find out, it gets held secret for 5 years, and finally it makes it to the public, and they go, what? Why are you occupying Wall Street? What did we ever do? We never did anything wrong. My ass, you didn't do anything wrong. I can go all night busting you up. These are just two of hundreds of examples we have shared on the show.